My friends, you have seen this incident based on sworn testimony. Can you prove that it didn't happen?
Fancy punks!
Lick my plate!
Training!
There'll be 10 minutes where it's like a Steven Soderbergh Ocean's 11 movie. It's all slick and funny and stuff. Then just the most horrific shit imaginable happens.
It's because that's what the fucking movie's about, you asshole.
This fucking guy.
The Tree of Life is freaking awesome.
I'm sure you think it is.
Faded to black.
Oh, you are fucking this up.
Neon slime.
Gangster movie douchebag. Well, forget about it. Yeah, forget about
Man, Cinematique, where I like, I like the sets and I like all that stuff.
What did you say?
Cinematique? I don't know.
Jared Leto, man.
You're the worst, dude. If you ever listen to this, Jared Leto, you are the fucking worst. But I'd rather watch that dude, the English dude, who looks like he's not done yet.
This movie is the opposite of getting laid.
Thank you to all our listeners who have been listening to us for over a year now. Subscribe to us on Apple iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, and any other platform that has podcasts. Visit our Patreon page, become a Patreon, get more additional content. Again, we appreciate you listening and keep watching those movies. Now, on with the show.
Our entire aim is for the development of our planet.
Same podcast, same guys, new look. Thanks for listening to Tales from the Video Store podcast, sponsored by Golden Ticket Cinemas, The Spot Toys in Newton, Table Rock Creative Group, the pinnacle of video marketing, and Ink Brush Swag, just a cool t-shirt company. Tales from the Video Store, the podcast about the movies you've never heard of, but must see. Now, it's Lee Bridges, Doug Wall, and Garrick Lane. On with the show.
Oh, it is? Okay, very cool.
Welcome, partners, to Tales from the Video Store number 110. And we're on our last Western piece of block, or whatever you call them things, partner. And this week it was Open Range with Kevin Costner and Robert Duvall. Woohoo! Now, introducing Doug, Lee, and Garrick. Here we go, Tales from the Video Store. How was that? That was good?
That was some of your best work. You fucking idiot.
Good for the podcast or good for your hee-haw audition?
My hee-haw audition, both.
If a hee-haw audition, it was perfect.
Oh, that was good, dude. Great. Partner, that's great. How we doing this week, guys?
Doing pretty good.
Great.
Pretty good. Well, guess what? Brittney's dad finally broke under the pressure of all these people putting up posters, and I guess he stepped down, gave her money, and then I think she got on Instagram and showed her tits.
See,
That's
I love
awesome.
it. That's America. That's how freedom works, right?
Thanks, America.
I don't know if she's got her money back yet, but
Well, good for her, man. I mean, she deserves it. She's been around long enough to earn it. Did we watch some cool trailers, or did we watch some cool trailers?
yeah.
We did.
All right, well,
We did.
Somebody want to introduce this, or am I going to talk the whole way through? Okay, well, anyway, so this week's movies Open Range from Kevin Costner and everything. The movie of the week, and this is the movie I watched. All right, thanks a lot for listening to 110. We'll be next week with Summer Camp. Are we good?
Wow.
Stop recording?
Garrick's on the Ritalin again. I don't think he's using it right.
Okay, all right, enough. Yes.
If you either had too much or not enough.
Yeah, I think a little of both. A little of both. All right, so introduce this crazy trailer. What Nick Cage says is his...
Prisoners of the Ghost World.
Oh my goodness, Bill Moseley and Nick Cage, and what the movie Nick Cage says is the craziest he's ever done.
Right, exactly.
what he
Which
says.
means, basically to me means he's saying it's crazier than Mandy.
Which is insane, because Mandy's pretty crazy.
Exactly.
I think
I'm
he's
very
just...
excited.
I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
I think they're just like, hey, maybe if you said this is the craziest thing you've ever done, it'll help.
Hey,
Okay.
we'll give you an We'll pay you an extra $10,000 to put towards your national debt if you just say it's the craziest movie you've ever been in.
You think if somebody challenged him on that Cage is going to flinch? He's going to be sitting there in his pink satin jacket and flipping the bird and going to do the next fucking whatever's down the pipe. He doesn't give a shit.
Well,
Yeah, right.
well, in his defense, we are talking about it, so if that's what happened, it worked.
Exactly.
You're right. You're 150% right. And after watching the trailer, it looks like if it's as good as the trailer is, now 50% of movies are not, but if it's as good as the trailer looks, we're in for a treat.
Yeah. Yeah, it's from a Japanese director, Cyan Sono, who makes... His movies are legitimately weird. Like, some of his movies are very... some of them I can't even sit through. Like, there's one called Love Exposure, which is of a guy who does upskirt videos, and it's like 4 hours long. I mean, he's just a super weird guy.
4 hours of upskirt?
I think...
Where's that subscription website?
It's not 4 hours upskirts. It's about a guy. That's what he does. And he goes on this journey, and it's like I've only watched a bit of it. But then he'll what was the movie he did a couple years ago, Tokyo Tribe? That was very good. Then there's that one he made about the filmmakers. Why Don't You Play in Hell? That came out a couple years ago. I've enjoyed some of his movies, but it'll be interesting to him to do an English language movie. Because he's just such a specifically Japanese weirdo. And originally the movie was supposed to be shot in Mexico. I think it was supposed to have sort of a wild at heart type vibe to it. But then the director, he had a massive heart attack, and Nick Cage was actually the one who insisted on shooting it in Japan. He's like, if we go to Mexico at 100-degree heat, you're gonna die. Because it was like a month after he had the heart attack. They were supposed to shoot the movie.
Oh, Nick Cage just wanted to go to Japan.
That's probably true.
I'd much rather go to Japan than Mexico.
The plot is very similar to Escape from New York in a lot of ways. He's a badass thief kind of guy. This guy's Bill Moseley's this crime boss, I guess, who his granddaughter gets kidnapped in this feudal Japanese post-apocalyptic wasteland called the Ghostland, and they strap Nick Cage into a suit with bombs in it, and he has, I think, 5 days to go get this guy's granddaughter. So it's just, I really, listen, from the trailer, it could be amazing or it could be completely unwatchable, but we'll see.
Yeah, it really could go either way.
I'll tell you this. I hope it's fucking great. Because the movie poster for this is amazing. I want it.
Yeah.
But,
like, I immediately want to have it hanging on my wall. It looks great.
it looks that good, yeah. So, I'm hopeful that it's good simply for that, so I can find it and frame it.
Exactly.
Because if it's an utter piece of shit, it's just not going to work. So, I'm pulling for it.
As long as Bill Moseley's character isn't running around going, my plate, get that bitch, my plate.
I hope he is.
Are you dog dick motherfucker?
I hope he throws some of that into
Or
it.
if he throws in some of the devil's rejects, you shit talking fucking. As long as he doesn't do that.
Then it's not going to be Bill Moseley if he doesn't do that.
Yeah.
He seems pretty tame in the trailer.
Hopefully that's just the taste of the madness to come. We'll see.
Oh, I'm sure there's weirdness in the movie that, the trailer doesn't even touch on.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm definitely sure. Well, we don't really talk about sports much, and Doug kind of shunned our sports block, but I will bring this up. This last week, I did watch one baseball game this year. Now, I have gone from watching lots of sports to almost not watching it at all based on how athletes have been getting paid and how they've complained about getting paid and kneeling for the flag and politics and all this stuff. It's kind of worn me out on it. But I did, however, being a huge baseball movie fan and being a huge fan of Field of Dreams, I had to watch Fox's presentation of the Field of Dreams where the White Sox played the Yankees on primetime in a field in Iowa with the corn. And man, not only was the game like, it was the best game I had seen in a long time. It ended with a walk-off, of course. Tim Anderson homered to left for a walk-off. But the way they did it, Kevin Costner came out. They're flying around the field, and then he comes out, and the crowd's there, and it looks just like this place, man. I mean, it was so cool, man. It was so nostalgic. And then the New York Yankees and the White Sox came out of the field to play, and they were dressed in their old jerseys, and man, it was just a great production. And apparently, it was the most watched baseball game in 16 years, and rightfully so. It was wonderful.
So it was the most watched game since players stopped taking steroids.
Yes, correct. Yes, 150%. That's actually probably accurate, Lee.
Field of Dreams. I think it's...
But you could see the corn, like when they homered the ball, it was into the corn. Like there's corn, you can see it, and it's...
Because it's a fucking cornfield.
I know, but I'm just saying, it was so incredibly different. Who gives a shit? That's exactly what's coming out of your mouth.
No, I was just going to say...
Who gives a shit?
From the 1980s, as far as like big name movies that people will talk about, like, oh man, this one, like, what's happening?
We lost Lee. Keep talking. That's fine. He'll come back.
This movie, helped form my childhood, or was such a big part of it. I never understood the movie. I never liked the movie.
So this just doesn't matter to you.
I mean, not to be a dick. It's just
it's just not for you.
I just never even understood what the fucking. I was like, oh, a dead guy's showing up to play like, what the fuck is that? I never got it.
Okay, well that's cool. I loved it, and I thought it was a very cool production, and I think that MLB hit the nail on the head. It was supposed to be done last year, but the Corona pandemic happened, and so they postponed it a year. And
Can you explain it to me?
What?
Field of Dreams.
If you build it, they'll come. It's the same concept we have for this podcast. If we do it, they'll listen, and it's fucking still not working. So Fox and Major League Baseball are doing something better than we are. If you record it, they'll listen. If you record, they'll listen.
So they played a game in a cornfield.
Yeah. And speaking of, actually, to change the subject, what the fuck is going on with Facebook? I'm so fucking mad. I got to approve everybody's shit. Anybody that's listening to our podcast, man, and if you guys are posting on the group pages and it's not coming up directly, it's because somebody somewhere on their personal page is what I think. And this is what I think, and I'm sorry, I'm getting off on a tangent here, but so this is what I think is happening. So one of our people in our group on their normal page is talking about white people or black people or fucking somebody, and then they're posting into our group, and that has got the algorithm and all that Facebook freaking puppeteering shit going haywire, so that we have to approve everybody's freaking posts inside of our Facebook group. Now, not only does that fucking hurt us or hurt our Facebook page, and not only annoys the fuck out of me, because now you and I have to double check and approve fucking posts. I mean, seriously, it's ridiculous. I also think that it's falling onto my personal page because of it, because I'm an admin to that. When I post stuff for Adventure Lane, I'm not getting near the hits I got.
Right.
I'm not getting near the hits on Adventure Lane that I would have gotten a year ago. So I'm thinking like this all trickles down, and it's bullshit. I hate it.
Right. Basically, these not in our group, but in other groups they're in, they posted something and someone complained about it, and they got a community Sanders strike. So because there's enough of them, I really don't know. Maybe it's 5, maybe it's 3. We have to approve it for the next month. And I have no idea what for, because we've got with the exception of your Edward Norton picture, which is still, I think, a bullshit community standard strike. You know, we're a movie page. You're talking about a movie. You weren't like, yay, Nazis when you post that picture of American History X. That's the only one we've ever gotten. This has to do with our members. But not even talking about our page, things they've done on other group pages.
Right, that's what I'm saying. And like it trickles into, like it's actually not only is it affecting our group and our Facebook page and how much it's being seen because of the shadow blocking. What's it called? Shadow, I don't know. It's shadow blocking. Somebody explained it to me where, you know, if you're on Facebook talking conservative, you're getting kind of getting put in the shadows in your feeds, and some of your stuff is being filtered. Well, this is how this thing with whatever these guys are doing in these other groups, even though they're not doing it in our group, we are paying for it. And not only are we paying for it in our fucking Tales from the Video Store group, and our podcast numbers are down, everything's because nobody's seeing it because they're filtering us. They're also filtering because you and I are admins. My post of Adventure Lane videos and shit like that is getting filtered because of the wave of this bullshit. Like they control your whole fucking life. Now I know you can't,
but it doesn't even have to do anything political. It doesn't necessarily have to. I made a joke post on a joke group page, and I referred to someone as a big Scottish bastard as a joke. And I got a community standards strike for making a racial comment.
See? So maybe it's you. Maybe you're the one.
Now this was months and months ago, and it was they were like somebody complains. I saw that, by the way. Somebody complains, no matter what it is. It's like, you know, if they complain, you're guilty.
Yeah, right. Agreed.
I
think it's ridiculous. The whole thing is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And that really makes it's like, not only are we stuck in this situation where we're having to constantly go to the group admin and approve, like I'm getting notification after notification, like Gerald Ellison, I got to approve all his birthdays. He puts everybody's birthday up there, and I'm getting them every day. I have to approve everything, and I can't just approve all. I have to go through it and approve it. Because somewhere along the line, and how many we have thousands of people in that group now, don't we?
I bet 1,500 at least.
1,500. How the fuck are we supposed to find the guy that's hurting everybody? It's hurting me all the way down the line to my other stuff.
Well, that's the thing. We'll never know. They're not going to give us the name, so there's no way we'll ever know. You know, I mean, and it's the thing. It could just be something, you know. Because it's an out. I don't think a lot of times, you know, and it might not even be people complaining. It might just be the algorithm that sees the words, you know, like whatever, you know.
All they heard was Scottish bastard.
Exactly, and because it was a nationality and a square, they were like, no, that's offensive. Even though I was saying it, and they took it out of the context of what I was saying. Oh, look at this big Scottish bastard. You know, or whatever it was I said.
Right.
And it was just, because it's, you know, out of context, everything's offensive. You know.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean.
That's crazy. Anyway, I know that's off subject, but we just got hit again. Now we've got another month of that approval, and my number, it's funny, my Adventure Lane numbers were down, and not that they're big, but another guy came to me and said, hey, you know, he kind of explained what could possibly be happening, and I'm like, I wonder if that has to do with being an admin of Tales and having to approve that, you know?
Right, it could be. I don't know.
It's crazy, man.
Aye, being a big Scottish bastard that I am, I'm very offended.
Doug hasn't said a word in this. Ignorance is bliss. Let me tell you, this is one of those times where ignorance is bliss.
It's not ignorance. It's free will. Fuck you, Facebook.
Yeah. Dude, I'm there, man. I'm about ready to move over to Reddit. We haven't really gotten into Reddit. We probably should.
Right.
For real, we should start over. Well, not start over, but start moving towards that.
Look into that, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway. All right, well, we'll move on from bashing your place of... We should probably be careful what we say. They might hear you, man.
They're probably listening in right fucking now.
Probably listening
Well, my phone is right next to me, so.
Yeah.
You're what?
My phone is right next to me, so I'm sure they're recording the whole thing.
Yeah, they just record the whole thing. You'll have your pink slip by morning. Well, and also, speaking of people that were, speaking of situations that are a little bit touchy, did you see where the Disney situation with the Shanghai lead?
Right.
We won't get into big specifics, but the CEO Disney says, "Hey, we're streaming Black Widow and Shanghai. We're going to do these. We're going to do a little. What is it? I'm screwing this up, aren't I?
Shang-Chi.
Whatever.
Just let him go, Lee. I was going to.
Sorry, I wrote it down as Shanghai on my notes, but it is Shang-Chi. Anyway, they're going to stream both of those movies on streaming and the movies, and the CEO said it's kind of an experiment. While the lead, being Asian, tweets out, "We are not an experiment," and now all hell's broken loose.
Right.
I think. Listen, I'm completely anti freaking CEO of Disney all the time, unless it's me, and even then, I probably would never have that job. But I don't think he meant anything by that. In my own context.
I actually didn't read the comments. I just kind of skimmed over the headlines. Yeah, it might be, like, as we talked about before, it might be something taken out of context, but, I mean, I don't know. I don't think it's going to make much of a difference. I don't know if that movie's going to do huge numbers anyway.
Right. Yep. And then Anthony Mackie's going to star in Captain America 4.
Right.
So they are moving into that situation. That sounds pretty awesome. We'll see how that goes.
What was his name? Who is he? The Falcon?
He was
Falconer?
the Falconer.
The Falconer? Who's going to be the new Falconer? Now that's what I want to know. Who gets to fly around in that cool wingsuit?
Wow.
Anyway.
Okay. Well, we're moving on. Any other interesting news? I think that was it, wasn't it?
I think that's it, yeah.
Great. Well, let's get into this awesome movie. My favorite of all 3 weeks, Open Range. Who wants to introduce it?
Why don't you go ahead, Garrett?
Why do I got it?
Okay, then I'll do it. It's from 2003. It's directed by Kevin Costner. Kevin Costner and Robert Duvall are, cattle ranchers. They're, transporting a herd of cattle across the United States. And they camp one night, and unbeknownst to them, it's on the land owned by this guy named, played by Michael Gambon, who hates, back in the Old West, you could, if you were transporting cattle, before they had, transported them on trains or whatever, that you had the legal right to graze on someone's land as long as you weren't there more than a day or two, And Michael Gambon, this rich guy, he just hates this so much. So basically, he tries to, he has one of them beat up and thrown in jail, the camp cook, and then just basically he keeps the problem with his character is he could have just let him go, but he just keeps fucking with them. And then at the end, Kevin Costner and Robert Duvall basically have to kill not 60% of the town.
Yeah, they do.
Pretty much.
And they say it's a very old-fashioned type Western. It's, it came out in 2003, but it feels kind of like a Howard Hawks movie from like the 50s.
It does. It feels like and it's shot that way, and it's done that way, and it's wonderful, man. Like, it really is.
It's very old-fashioned, and I mean that in a good way.
Yeah. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, and but I think one of the things that's not old-fashioned about it is it's the only movie I've ever seen that deal with what we call today PTSD, but someone who was in the Civil War. Like Kevin Costner's character has severe PTSD from being in the Civil War.
Yeah.
It's not the main. It's not. This isn't like this isn't like the main thrust of the movie. It's just a subplot. But I think it's handled pretty well.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Yeah, But the star of the movie is Robert Duvall. I mean, that's why Kevin Costner insisted on his name coming first on the title and in the credits. Because Kevin Costner is actually very good in this movie, but it's a Robert Duvall movie.
100%. I was talking to Garrick about that before we started to record, and telling him how much I know I've seen this movie at least twice, and it was always one I was like, or I guess back then I was like, it's all right. So I wasn't really all that excited to watch, to have to watch it again. I was kind of like, okay, but fuck, I loved it, man.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a perfect movie. The beginning and especially the ending could have been handled a little bit differently. I kind of felt like could have probably trimmed about 20 minutes off of it and kind of tightened it up a little bit.
Right.
But all in all, dude, from once the shit starts to when they finish it, it's as good as anything Western-wise that's been made in the last, I'd say, 30 years.
Right, yeah. I would agree with that.
I mean, it is straight up Duvall and Costner walking around just acting like the baddest ass cowboys that they can come up with in their own heads. And they both fucking nail it perfect. Like, I just forgot that this was like that, like, bow down to Robert Duvall, because that's really what it boils down to.
Yeah.
And dude, he has some of the best lines in the whole thing. I mean, his fucking name's Boss, dude.
It's Bluebonnet.
He's awesome.
It's Bluebonnet Spearman.
Yeah.
That's the best line at the end. They're like, well, we're going to die. You're going to tell me. You're going to tell me your real name. He's like, Bluebonnet. Don't tell anybody.
Yeah.
That's the best part. What a good movie. It really does. It feels like a John Wayne. It feels like an old The Searchers kind of movie. It was perfect.
You could have put any one of
anybody,
Mitchum, any of those guys in that role that Duvall played, and they all would have played it the exact same way. Like, just fucking pure T badass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of the shots, man. Some of the shots, the gunfire at the end. It's just, yeah, like you said, it just feels like a classic Western.
Yeah.
And it's a nice slow burn. You're right. It probably could have been 2 hours.
I think maybe that's why I didn't like it initially, is because it felt like something I'd seen before.
Maybe.
Does that make sense?
But you're more mature now.
Yeah, but now revisiting it, I just fell in love with it, man. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe it's been this long since I'd seen it, number one. And number two, that I actually had kind of such a low feeling about it. Because I enjoyed it just about every second of it.
Yeah. And you're right, it is a little bit too long, but for a Kevin Costner movie, this is actually fairly short.
That's true.
And this is why, to me, this is his best movie as a director.
What, not Dances with Wolves?
No.
You're not a fan of Waterworld?
Not a fan of Waterworld?
He didn't direct Waterworld.
Oh, that's right, he didn't.
Yeah.
Maybe he should have.
Yeah, well, I don't know about that one, but I also love that it's not like, the stakes are only in this small town. It's not this huge movie. It really only affects this like a mile around area. It's not like some big epic thing. It's just this guy, basically killed their friend, and now they just have to deal with it.
Yeah.
And then Michael Gambon is the scummiest guy on earth in this movie.
Yeah, he sucks.
Yeah, but I mean that he's really good at it.
Yeah.
But his character's just so hateable.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of negative
I really
stuff.
dig this movie.
Yeah, my biggest complaint, if we're gonna talk complaints, is the ending is very anticlimactic, just because I see the allure sometimes of trying to do like you have like something happen and then you want to kind of stretch that ending to something else, when what you had there is where it should have ended, and outside of that, I mean, who gives a shit? It's a fucking happy ending. But that, that's my biggest complaint is I was like, God damn, it's still on for 15 minutes. What the fuck? I guess I'd kind of forgotten about it, and I did not like that. But other than that, man, I thought it's as good as anything that we've done lately, for sure.
Yeah.
It was nominated for an Taurus Award. If you don't know what the Taurus Award is, it's a stunt award. That cool stunt where the dude gets shot from behind and gets shot and blows into the adjacent wall. The stuntman for that got nominated. I thought that was really cool. And then it got nominated for the best line of the year, which is pretty good too. Men are going to get killed here today, and I'm going to kill them. I mean, it's Kevin Costner saying that to her. He's like, "Hey, this is gonna happen. Like, this is gonna happen today, and it's gonna happen right now." Yeah. It's a classic movie. So, all right, so we've done 3. Which was the favorite of the 3? The Proposition was very good.
The Proposition is my favorite, but just because I love the story. I love the griminess of it, that Australians, the tertiary characters and how fucking crazy they were. Just everything about that I just really, really enjoyed. This would be, this is second. I would have, prior to watching this, I firmly had this one dead last. I was like, don't want to watch it. I had no desire to see it again. And I'm glad that I was openly wrong about that. This is definitely number 2, and it's not that far from the Proposition as far as I'm concerned.
I see what you're saying, Doug, but this movie just has a rewatchability that the Proposition doesn't. I will admit the Proposition is probably, if you're going as far as if you had a chart of great movies, Proposition is definitely a better movie. Right. But this is just like a Saturday afternoon movie.
It is. I'll give you
and
that.
I think that's more what Westerns are about. So I would have to put this one first.
I'll put this one first, too. I think for that same reason, Lee, I think for once you and I 100% agree. It's one of those movies that I could just put on in the background and play over and over, where the Proposition's a little more tough and grimy and a little more harsh.
Yeah,
and
it's sticky, icky, and...
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But that's the appeal.
You gotta be in a certain mood to watch the Proposition.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no love for The Good, the Bad, and the Weird?
I mean, I love that movie too, but it's also, that's a very specific...
Yeah. Talk about a Saturday afternoon, you just put it in and...
Yeah, exactly. That's a very specific mood movie.
Sure.
I think Westerns are basically, they're just they're basically the first American genre film. The movies were invented 1897, 1902, there was a Western.
Yeah.
It's like the first American genre that we basically made, this is our type of movie. And so as far as that definition, I would say that Open Range is the best example.
Okay.
Annette Bening was still beautiful, too. Even as an older lady, she's always been beautiful, but she's really pretty in this movie.
Okay.
There you go. So it's a watch. It's a 100% watch if you haven't seen it. Open Range. It's on Prime. Kevin Costner, Robert Duvall, Blue Bonnet Spearman. There you go.
Boss.
Boss. And Annette Bening. Well, what else did we watch? Anything good? We've had a week and a half off. We didn't get to do it last week, so I know everybody's built up.
I watched a bunch of stuff. I don't know how much of it's really very good, but I did watch some stuff.
Go ahead, Doug.
Okay, first thing I watched, because I was in such a fucking cowboy mood, and I found a movie that I think Lee had reviewed before called In the Valley of Violence.
Yeah.
With Ethan Hawke and John Travolta and the Milkshake chick from Gunpowder Milkshake. I can't remember her name. I can't remember her name, or actually, I just don't want to write it down because she's
Mom?
She's annoying as fuck. What?
Which one? Mom and Knutsak?
What?
Is it the mom and
Are you having a seizure? What is happening?
Is it the mom in Knutshake Milkshake.
No, guy.
No, we're not talking about Lena Headey. Oh God, in Knutsak Milkshake, Lena.
Oh God!
All right, anyway,
this one it's like fucking kindergarten. All over.
Nutsack Milkshake.
Doug, it's Karen Gillan.
Yeah. Anyway, this movie, I kind of had high expectations for it. I'm a big Ethan Hawke. I like Ethan Hawke quite a bit. And basically, it's John Wick, but without all the cool shit that makes John Wick John Wick. Aside from this dude, like, he had the coolest fucking, like, sheepdog ever. Like, coolest.
It's the best dog in movie history.
Best dog I've ever, doing the coolest dog shit you've ever seen in a fucking movie. I was high as hell watching it. Like, just so happy. I was like, look at this fucking thing. And then some asshole comes and fucking kills him and awakes, this Ethan Hawke fucking John Wick wannabe motherfucker.
So this is John Wick.
It was John, man.
It's not a very good movie.
It had a lot of opportunity.
This is John Wick.
It really did, but it just did. It's like it would kind of move in a certain direction, and then it just would falter. It just
What's weird is the pre-revenge stuff is much better than the revenge stuff.
Right.
The first act is very good, but then it
goes down. It goes downhill to the end.
Yeah.
Big disappointment, but not the biggest disappointment that I watched.
Oh, gosh.
Because after that, I rented Wrath of Man, Guy Ritchie's new movie.
Right.
I heard
Statham.
it was Guy Ritchie, only it wasn't Guy Ritchie.
It's more like Chet Ritchie. It's fucking. It is horrible. It is a fucking clumsy as fuck told story. Like, dude, if you wanted to put fucking Ritchie and Statham together for an action movie, just sit down on a fucking weekend to come up with something, man, and it would have been better than this.
Dave, let me ask you a question. What is with the dialogue in the first act when they're introducing all the characters?
I have no idea.
It sounds like something a Martian wrote.
It was so weird.
It's just like, they're like, this is Pretty Boy Smith. And it's just, the way they talk to each other is so weird.
Yeah.
Like, the first act is so, once the revenge stuff happens, there's cool shots, and I mean, there's gunfights, that's fine. But the first act is it's like, like aliens came to Earth and were trying to act like humans.
It was so fun. There's a dude whose name is Boy Sweat. What the fuck does that mean?
I don't know.
It's the same as Nutsack Milkshake.
Like, everything about this movie was wrong. Nothing about it worked. It was super fucking predictable. Like Lee said, it does have some action, but by the time you get to the action, I really didn't even give a shit.
Right.
I mean, it's just, every fucking thing just was off with this. I think
it does not feel like a Guy Ritchie movie at all.
It's Chet fucking Ritchie.
It's the Chet Ritchie.
Chet got in there and fucking did this. And then the last thing that I watched Suicide Squad.
Right.
And
the fucking starfish is awesome.
It's weird enough to where I didn't hate it.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I would so fucking die. Like if Harley Quinn sat on me and I knew I was going to take a bullet to the gut after it, I think that I would be completely on board. What?
Lee, did you have a chance to watch this as well?
I did.
Okay.
So here we go.
We can round table
all
this
three
a
of us
little bit.
watch it. So I thought the starfish was disgustingly awesome. Like when he would lift his arm and all the freaking little things would come out and grip. And then it's funny because the ones on their face, I'm like, that looks so fake. But it looks so cool at the same. Like it's cool. Like
I'll give it this. It feels like an old comic book. Because really, that's something I just like with the MCU movies is everything's so fucking normal. Like Doctor Strange, which should be the weirdest movie on Earth, is just Iron Man with magic.
Yeah.
They're all the same movie. They're all just Iron Man. You got to give it to James Gunn for the Suicide Squad. He went full comic book weirdness.
Oh, absolutely. Like, that fucking sequence, man, is a fucking masterpiece. When alright, so she procreates with what's-his-face and then kills him. Okay?
Right.
And then she escapes. So then they're hanging her and they're cattle prodding her. From the moment she crosses her legs and snaps that dude's neck and gets out to the scene where they walk out and Bloodshot's going up the side of the up the side of the building, and he's like, "We're coming to save you," and she's like, "Really, just for me?" And she gets out. Like, that whole sequence, like the flowers and all that shit going on, it's fucking awesome. I love it.
It really is. But much like we were talking about Open Range and Good, Bad, and the Weird last week, this movie could be a lot shorter.
Oh, sure.
If this was, let's say 100 minutes. If they knocked this down to 100 minutes, it would be a barn burner. You know, there's just so much shit that doesn't need to be in there. And listen, I get it. DC, they let James Gunn do whatever the fuck he wanted, and it shows.
Yeah.
So good for him. I'm not knocking it, you know. But there's just, it's a lot of stuff that isn't that great in it. And, I'll keep it, listen, it's better than a lot of DCU movies, you know. It's better than the original Suicide Squad, which is like 60% exposition, you know.
Yeah.
But, you know, I don't know. Like I said, it almost needs a non-director's cut. I almost want to see the studio interference version.
See if they could trim some fat.
Yeah, I want to see a reverse director's cut.
Yeah. I like the polka dot guy who saw nothing but his mother.
Yeah.
Like every person or creature he saw had the face or whatever.
I'm a superhero
of his mom. That shit was fucking great. You know, I thought that John Cena, I thought he was fine up to a point.
Yeah, he was the weakest link, I think, of the group.
Yeah, I didn't feel that way. Like when they go to that camp, when they first get on the island and fucking just thrash everybody, like he was pretty good.
Oh yeah.
But it just kind of wore thin. It was like, okay, man, like where they kind of took the character, it was like, I don't really know what's going on. And Idris was okay. I wouldn't say he was great.
His best scene was the scene where he's cussing his daughter out. Fuck you, fuck you. He's like, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you.
Yeah, and that's the thing with this movie. It's riddled with great moments, but altogether, it's not great. It's just It's maybe okay.
It's a like Mank was a nothing burger. This one is a somewhat burger.
This one's a chip burger.
This is a kinda.
It's
burger.
Almost. It's close.
Yeah, it's an almost burger.
Yeah.
But as far as
there's a good movie in there.
Right.
You gotta chip it away.
Yeah. And I'm fine with it. I like James Gunn quite a bit, and I wasn't really expecting a lot out of this because I don't really give a shit about superhero movies. But I still when it ended, I was like, cool. All right, on with the. I didn't feel bad about it. I wasn't pissed off. I watched it, but I was just kind of like Lee. It's like, that. Oh man, that was cool. That was cool. That was cool. But this, and this kind of fucked it up. The shark guy was fucking great.
Yeah, Sylvester Stallone.
Just weird shit like the little sucker fuckers that get on them and did that really need to be in there? No. But it was weird enough to where, when he did weird shit like that, having that massive starfish is just weird.
Yeah.
As much as I kind of resisted it, I still find myself being like, well, it's just weird enough to be okay, so on with the next scene.
I would agree with that.
Yeah. So, it's a solid C?
Yeah, I watched it on HBO Max. I don't feel bad about that.
Yeah, exactly. I'm glad I didn't spend any money on it, but I don't think I'd have been really all that pissed off had I.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's what I watched.
What happened? I was looking forward to this. What's happening here?
Oh, right. So
I was actually
real quick, sorry.
I was eavesdropping on Doug's notes, and there's one on here that I was like, I'm actually.
I did forget about a week ago. I was looking around for something quick to watch, It's like a 90-minute documentary about the 1999 Woodstock Festival called Peace, Love, and Rage. And
this was the one. This wasn't the one that we.
No. This is the one
with Limp Bizkit.
This is the one with Limp Bizkit and Metallica and a bunch of bands that should
never do a Lollapalooza.
Except it's Woodstock.
Oh yeah, that's
I mean, basically, it's just thousands of like the rapiest white men that you can put together, listen to the heaviest music that they can fathom, with these guys like telling them to like keep going. And I remember looking at shit being on fire and all this, watching on TV and just being like, my God, like what is all this?
Was it like on an old Air Force base or something on the tarmac?
It was.
So it was 105 degrees. There's no grass. You're standing on asphalt listening to just loud music for 3 days.
Yeah, and a guy.
And I can't believe it. Yeah.
They like all the, they had hundreds of fucking porta potties, man. All of them overflowing with shit and piss all over the ground. People were crawling in it and all this thinking it's mud. It ain't fucking mud, man. It ain't been raining.
Yeah.
You're in a shit puddle, fella.
Yeah. And that's how you get Hep C.
Yeah, and just a lot of like...
They didn't have water. They didn't provide water.
They were charging $4 a fucking bottle for bottled water, man. People were hell-raising. And they had like other water sources. But these fucking assholes were, jumping in these... Yeah, they had like massive water tubs to like cool yourself off. People were jumping in them, bathing in them. They had shower rooms where the guys were trying to get to the women. Lots of women, with their boobs out, and people, you see a girl like on her boyfriend's shoulders, like pull her shirt up, and then suddenly like 10 pairs of hands are like fucking all over. It was just really fucking rapey. I mean, just it was like Lord of the fucking Flies there, dude, is what it reminded me of. Like at the end, they've got these massive bonfires. People are dancing around, destroying the place. Like, it was no fucking good.
Woodstock like the Woodstock that we went to in the first
fucking Woodstock, man. Like, this was like the this was fucking rape stock. It was terrible. If you were there and acted like a fucking asshole, like I know you did, then fuck you. Because that's some bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah, you fucking heroes Generation X. If you were at fucking Rape Stock 99, and you grab somebody else's fucking man's fucking girlfriend's tits, go fuck yourself, you piece of shit.
Yeah, lots of rapes and it was.
I hope you got fucking Hep C from the fucking urinal, you cunt.
Yeah. So. Yeah. That's the end of that.
Dude, I really want to see that. That's why I'm sorry.
Oh, it's good. I mean, it was good to watch it, but
I didn't mean to rape you into that review, but I really wanted to hear how it was.
You Weinstein me.
I just fucking Weinstein you. Come on, give me that review. Come on.
That's probably gonna get us banned.
Banned, yep. We're gonna be fucking shadow stalked or shadow fucking blocked or whatever the fuck it is. Fuck Mark Zuckerberg. Fuck you square in your ass. I bet you were at that raping cocksucker. I bet he was. Up there writing some fucking program or some shit. Fucking ass.
Writing the same algorithm that's got you bent over.
Oh, wow. We have gone off the rails today. All right, I'll go next.
Go ahead.
I did it. I spent $6.99 to watch Baby Oopsie. That's correct.
Right.
I did. Well, actually, and let me just also disclaim that I was actually just wanting to see this channel, this Full Moon Full Moon Features channel. They've got all these videos, man, on this, and they're all shitty. Like, all the movies are shitty. But, I mean, and the guy's shooting all his content in Cleveland. That's right. He's shooting it in a house in Cleveland. And Baby Oopsie is exactly what you think it is. But I'm, of course, sitting there going, I bet I'm not the only person out there to spend $7 to watch this. I bet there's people out there that pay religiously the $60 a year to have that channel, to have that streaming channel.
There are 13 and 14-year-old Lee Bridgeses out there that probably.
How does it get to be about me? This prick's the one paying for it.
Hey, if you were 13, 14 years old, I guarantee you'd find a way to have this. I don't want to hear your shit.
Fair enough.
Well, it's got movies like Demonic Toys and Witch House. Baby Oopsie's actually like chapters. They're like 40-minute videos.
Was it an opera of cinema?
No.
Are you sure?
No, but it really does, man. It's got Tourist Trap on it, which I've seen, but Shrunken Heads. There's a lot, dude. It's like, the guy that did it, and I can't think of his name. Oh, sorry. There's Baby Oopsie right there. And I had his name, and I've lost my notes. But the guy
Charles Band.
Say that again?
Charles Band.
Yes, thank you. Charles Band. I was thinking Charles Camp. Charles Band has created he's got it's kind of like a successful Ed Wood.
Right.
Some of the movies.
He's got your $6.99.
Yeah, he does, and he's got and all these movies are shit. They're shit, but I'm sure there's people on here watching these. They're set, and they've got Puppet Master. He's got Puppet Master on here. Lots of sex in them, lots of everything, and he's even goes. He's got a comic book, he's got a magazine, and he's got a Pornhub that shows his soft porn movies.
Right.
So he's got this like.
Sounds like he's got it on lock. Is what it sounds like. Sounds like this cocksucker's figured it out. He's cracked the fucking
he's
code.
got an empire of shit, but he's got the good empire of shit, not the.
He's the fucking king of it.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's crazy. So as I spent my $7, and I'm going to watch a few more movies before I cancel my subscription. I will give him the props, man. He's definitely got it going on. There's lots of movies on here, lots of content. It's nothing that's. I mean, the Gingerweed Man is. Yeah, it is. But it's under comedy. As you're laughing, he's got you. It's 26 minutes. The Gingerweed Man. He comes around and kills people that are smoking pot. So, but he's doing it, and he's cut. I mean, the edits are sloppy. The shooting's sloppy, but it's just good enough that guys like me and guys like 13-year-old Lee Bridges want to check it out. I mean, sorry.
There you go.
So there you go. Yeah, you should got anybody that wants to piss away $7, which I'm sure you piss away on a daily basis, and you like movies. I would get a month on Full Moon Features and take a look at some of their films. If you get the COVID and you got 10 days to watch shitty movies.
Question.
Yes.
How was Baby Oopsie?
Baby Oopsie is exactly what you think.
Did you watch all of it?
I watched all of it.
Okay. What happens? Give me the rundown.
Well, the fat girl.
Damn. So good at descriptions. We're really knocking them out of the park.
Yeah, we are.
I think last week I called her the chubby, homely girl.
Yeah, the chubby, ugly girl. So basically, girl named Sybil. She lives with her mother, and her mother rents out some of the rooms to other people. And her mother's shit-talking, like just awful human being. Comes in smoking. Bring me my smokes. Bring me my liquor. Come on, Sybil. Get out of there. Stop messing with them goddamn dolls.
So it's everybody's great-grandmother.
Yeah. And every time Sybil goes to the store, some kids pick on her fat ass. And then and so then she builds dolls, and she has a YouTube channel where she shows off these dolls, and she fixes up little baby Oopsie, and he goes crazy. She goes crazy on him, gets demonic, and starts killing all the people that pick on her. And at the end of chapter 1, the last scene, the baby Oopsie's chewing through Mama's neck as she's screaming, "You died, cunt." And I'm telling you, the suspense is killing me. I can't wait for chapter 2.
Oh.
It's only 40 minutes. It's like a
Yeah.
It's kind of like it's their show. Baby Oopsie. And
When
the
do you
ginger-
get part 2?
I don't know.
Well,
Probably next month.
Thank
I have to pay $7 for the next month.
You've got gingerweed to keep
I got
you occupied until part 2 comes
That's
out.
correct.
Okay.
That's correct.
All right.
Jonathan, what'd you say?
Camp.
That thing's Band. Charles Band.
Charles
He was
Band.
in full mood.
Are we talking band camp?
Charles Band is a genius. He's the successful Ed Wood. And he got my $7 and I'm watching Baby Oopsie. He basically bought a house in Cleveland that he's making all his content out of. A huge big house that he's renting. And he's...
Why would you not?
I know. It's smart. It's brilliant. It makes me want to... I wish that I had... now, he's probably taking all his Puppet Master money to do this, right?
I would assume so.
I would
Yeah,
assume...
when he actually released movies on VHS in the 90s, which were, Puppet Master, I mean, he had tons of movies out.
Yeah, tons. So
And,
now... and they're all...
but he also produced Reanimator. I mean, he's produced... in the 80s, his movies came out in the theaters. He had, like he produced Reanimator, lots of movies. But he's produced, a lot of movies, and a lot of them are... They're crap. I mean, there's no two ways about it.
Oh yeah, this one,
But
Evil
we're
Bong.
talking about him, so...
Yep, you're right, and directed by him on his full moon features. Evil Bong 666 remastered.
Yeah.
Is Ghoulies 2 in his catalog?
I don't think so.
I believe it is.
You think so? Let's look.
I think so, yeah. Because originally his original company was Empire Pictures, and then that went out of business, and he switched it to Full Moon.
No, he's got Ouija's. Halloween. Ouija's.
Ouija's?
That's what it says. It's Ouija's. So Charles Band is my dude, man. I mean, I'm gonna watch a bunch more of his movies, and I'll give you some more reports throughout the next couple of weeks. Hey, going into summer camp, we're gonna be watching old movies anyway. It'll be a good time to explore some of this Evil Bong 666.
You might find some gems hidden in that.
Gingerweed, man.
Yeah.
So moving from that, we will. I did watch Suicide Squad. After the Field of Dreams movie, or after the Field of Dreams game, I ended up obviously watching the Field of Dreams movie, which we won't review because everybody's seen that movie, and some people like it and some people don't. But since we're running a little bit behind, I'll get to my feature movie this week. Yes, I spent $7 more and I rented Pig. It's about a chef who whose wife dies and he gets out of the business. And he takes his little truffle pig and goes and lives in the woods. And one of his competitors, who he supplies one restaurant guy, high-end, elegant restaurant guy, with these great truffles, while the restaurant guy that he services, his competitor, doesn't like that. So he has a couple of tweakers steal the truffle pig from Robin Feld, which is Nick Cage's character, and thus thrusts him into this chase to find his truffle pig, because quote, you don't get much in this world to care about, end quote. And so, you know what, man? It was pretty freaking good. I will say that. I know you guys don't like the Rotten Tomatoes. Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 96%. I 100% agree. It's a great looking film. It's a film about nothing. It is a nothing burger. The only difference is I was actually drawn to it. Like it's pretty good. You got to pay attention. It's a slow burn, but you got to pay attention to so you catch all the little things of how he ends up, where he ends up, and the pig and everything. But man, it's a really good movie. It's not anything that you thought it was. It's not Nick Cage with a fucking chainsaw on his arm and in a motorcycle on some fucking acid.
I'm probably out. Because that's kind of what
Yeah.
I mean, I love Nick Cage as much as the next guy. I love his crazy shit, and I love his serious stuff too, because I think he's had some amazing performances over his career, he really has. But I guess my biggest question is, what's the pig's name?
I don't think he ever gets into it.
The pig doesn't have a fucking name?
No, I don't think it gets into it.
It's not Babe or like
No.
Porky?
No.
Nothing.
No, he says girl. I mean, this pig gets stolen in the first 3 minutes of the movie.
Yeah, but he's been with that pig for some time, I'm sure.
I don't think I think he says pig. I don't think.
Well, that's even more disappointing than hearing that he's not riding on a fucking motorcycle on LSD with a chainsaw.
Oh, well. Yeah,
He was just doing that in between scenes in real life.
Yeah. I mean, look, it sounds cool, and I've read a couple of little things about it, and it sounds like, it's got some kind of quirky scenes that I think will probably be interesting to watch, but I don't know how much.
Okay. Well, that's fine. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, you said as much. I'm glad. I'm shocked that you rented it. Are you gonna rent Lamb next?
Oh, sure, maybe. I might.
I mean, if you're into pissing away $7,
well, I cut all my, I cut all Paramount, Stars. I've cut everything. I'm getting ready to cut Netflix because the kids they've really just gotten into Disney and Prime, and so I'm like, so it just it affords me a little bit of money to throw around on a movie here and a movie there, and it's good for this podcast. Occasionally to watch a new movie.
Sure. Yeah.
Right.
I don't mind. I mean, the amount of money I've pissed away on this fucking podcast. What's another $7 fucking?
Yeah, you should start renting them 2 at a time.
Ah, sure. Yeah.
You should have gotten pig and lamb. I can't believe you.
Is lamb out? Oh yeah, lamb's out, isn't it?
I think so.
Uh-oh. That's it. Time's up. Well, thank you. Just kidding. You need to answer that?
Yeah, hold on a second.
Oh, Lee. Go ahead, Lee. Lee?
Yeah.
What? I don't even remember where I stopped. Oh yeah, pig. Lamb. So lamb is out. Maybe I'll get to that next week.
I hope you do.
Okay. Well, that's all I watched this week. Lee, did you get anything good? Or was it just Suicide Squad?
I watched Suicide Squad. I rewatched a few things. I was looking on HBO Max, and I saw the original Matrix was on there, which I've not watched in years, like a very long time, and I bailed out fairly quickly. The inherent 90s-ness of it was just too much for me. It was just, yeah.
It doesn't have the legs. It was very cool when it came out. It was very gimmicky.
Very cool.
It was very gimmicky.
It's very, like we were talking about Woodstock 99, it's just that time. It's just like, because that was the year it came out, and it just doesn't, yeah. Like this, the music and the way everybody's just dressed in black leather for no reason, and the way people, I did not dig it nearly as much as I did in 1999. And, yeah. So I think I've been about like 30 minutes in.
Wow.
And after that, Bonnie and I watched Poltergeist, and then we watched, which I've seen Poltergeist in the last few years, I still love that. Then we watched Poltergeist 2, which I've not seen probably since the 80s.
Is that the one with the old preacher, or the one where they're in
that is the one with the old preacher, yep.
Yeah.
Reverend Kane.
Yeah, I watched that within the last couple of years. I think I watched it last year, actually.
And the effects in that movie are great. It's like when the guy throws up the tequila worm, it turns into the monster.
Yeah.
The movie doesn't really make a lot of sense, but I mean, there's cool stuff in it. And the guy who plays Reverend Kane, like he was dying of cancer at the time, and he is all in that movie. He's the best thing about the movie.
100%.
And but that's all I really watched.
Well, all right. Well, that was a productive block. We're going to do, to finish up the summer, we're going to do a summer camp block. And we haven't quite decided exactly what we're going to watch, but it's all going to be based around summer camp. That should be very interesting.
Are we doing that next, or are we redoing Kill List next?
Well, I think that's a discussion we should probably have and decide.
Okay.
My biggest concern about doing a kill list is, since we've already done it, would we carry a whole show revisiting kill list?
I don't know. I mean, this was Doug's idea, so ask him.
Yeah, I just thought it would be fun to do like listen to that old podcast and take notes about what each of us said about it. Watch it again, and then come back and see if we still felt the same way. That was kind of the idea that I was throwing around about doing kill lists.
Okay.
All right, let's do it. Then there you go.
And we could cut, if you don't think it's enough to do a whole show, and we could couple it with like
just watch some good movies, or watch a couple extra movies, and we'll fill it with
or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just an idea.
Yeah.
So there you go. So next week we will revisit our first podcast movie, The Kill List.
And this is about the time, end of August is about the time we started the podcast in 2000.
Yeah, so this will be
So
like
this
our
is 3-year anniversary.
Our 3-year anniversary. Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Okay, well, Doug just about fell out of his seat. He was that excited about our 3 years. Till next week. That's it. Keep watching those movies.
All right, milkshake.
Yeah, nuts. Thank you for listening to Lee, Doug, and Garrick for 3 years of Tales from the Video Store.